All right. I hope everybody had a great week. I personally, in trading last week, was totally off, literally off record, man. It was really bad. Right. Last week's trading was really bad. And even with my friends that I spoke about, a lot of guys lost a lot of money last week. And one thing that I noticed, though, because I saw the patterns of all trades that I have throughout the year. And I noticed that November period was literally the worst period of my trading. So I've done some off trades that I never really posted. And I figured that my success rate in November was the lowest it's ever been. Normally, I have a 80% success rate in trading, 85. And throughout the year, everything averaged to about 90, 91% win rate. But November this year, for some random reason, after accumulating the records and checking it just about a few days ago, I saw I only had a 64% win rate in November, which is very bad, which is very, very bad. I mean, and that's my worst I've had in 4 years. So that being said, I don't know what's happening. I can't really say it right now because it's new. December is just it's still new. So if everything goes back to the above 80% win rate that I normally have, then it might just be a fluke. Something might have happened that might have missed my glance, then and that could have caused the November result. That being said, I noticed also last week's webinar, we never had the COT report for that week, and most of the trade analysis was literally upside down. If I'm not mistaken, most of the trade was upside down. So what I can say about that is this. It shows how important the COT report is. The COT report, plays a very vital role, and not having it for a week guys, I don't know what happened to get it cut out, but I think I have a clue what is happening with my PC. And this is my fault. I literally have to say. What's happening is I had a change of driver on my M-Audio sound card, and that change of driver might have caused this issue. Yes, and also, yeah, you're definitely correct, Aslan. Like without the COT report, is literally being legally blind. Yeah. The COT report does play a very, very vital role. The role is very vital, and I've learned a massive lesson from last week's trade that it's not worth it trading without the report. If the report isn't updated, just let the trades go. It doesn't matter how good the trades are. By the way, I hope you guys can hear me loud and clear, because the what I can see on my Zoom right now is showing my microphone peaking very much. Okay. All right, beautiful. All right. So that being said, does anybody want anything that want us to go through today? When it comes to Bitcoin, I mean, I really did emphasize caution about it last week. So I didn't really trade it because I did emphasize the caution about it last week. And I hope nobody else traded it, because it did do a massive raid. It dumped a lot. I still don't understand why it dumped. I can't really say why it dumped. I don't know. I will be honest with you guys. If I can't form, being a guru on this. I have absolutely no clue about it. So if anybody have any insight about why Bitcoin might have dumped, please let me know. Let me even check on COT report. Maybe we might find something right here from the commercials. And even looking at commercials for the COT report as of the 30th of November, you can see they took out positions from the long, they took out positions from the short. So these guys too are also confused. But what we can see is non-commercial, these guys went massively short. The change, the change is this. What we can see right here is the change is 2,000. So 2,000 new positions shooting down. on Bitcoin between the 30th of November. This might be the people that are moving the market for now, because as you can see, the positions that these guys have compared to these guys, you know, is different. So I personally have zero clue. I have zero clue why that happened. It could have been because of this. I don't know, you know, but yeah, that being said, that's that. So is there anything anybody wants me to look at today before I dive into a few things? AUD JPY, okay. Gold, please type it up so I can go after one after the other.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Okay. Gold CAD. Okay. Okay. We go 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's go with AUD first. So let's start off with AUD. I mean, the first thing I'm gonna do with AUD and all the other assets is to first check what the COT report is saying. Since we haven't updated from the 30th, so we're good. Now I'm just gonna check the JPY. This thing. I'm just gonna quickly mute for a second. All right. So I'm gonna check the JPY as well. So looking at the JPY, they're taking out positions from the long and the short, so we don't really need to touch that. AUD, let's see what we have on AUD. Stuck? Stuck. So maybe so. Let me check. CHF JPY. All right, AUD, we have 21,000 new positions coming in, open interest of 71%. Okay, so we're checking AUD JPY. So the first thing is, let's see if we can have a matching, stuff on kind of like a parallel going on with the seasonality as well. If we can find a parallel going on with the seasonality in which the AUD also is pointing up, then we might actually have a trade on the AUD on this. Okay, so let's see what the AUD is saying. A fifth. Now we're around somewhere here on the AUD, right? And even though we can see, the AUD looks like as if it's gonna pump, what I can tell is from the looks of this, which is telling us to buy, and this is telling us to sell, I would not touch AUD JPY. Honest opinion, I'll just let it go. There's no point. There's no alignment. So that literally summarized AUD JPY before we even started. I would not touch it. But if you find a way around it or find something that makes sense about it, it could be good. But you might be on a brink of a fall or a brink of a buy. I am not really sure. So let's check gold next. Gold. See what we got for gold. Gold doesn't give us any much on on the COT. Let's check the seasonality of gold. Now, from last week's lesson, I'm not gonna mess with this anyway, but I'll still check gold regardless. Based on last week's issue. The one thing I know for sure is definitely the COT report works. Without it, you don't want to trade. Really, guys. You don't want to trade. And you don't want to go against it neither. So server's running a bit slow today. I don't know what's happening with technicals today, but things seem to be slightly slow and out of place. So gold. So okay, so let's look at gold. Fifth one is okay, gold is right here. So what I can see from gold is the 5 years and the 50, the 40 years and the 5 years seems to be pushing up while the 5 years seems to be going down. So there's a conflict going on with gold. And just by looking at the conflict, I still would not trade gold. I would wait to somewhere around here on the 9th, and 9th should be Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. So Thursday, but the challenge with gold is because we don't have a certified COT report data, it'll be very, very hard to trade. I'm not gonna really mess with it. Oh, by the way, I've been looking at stocks as well. But let's go gold. I'm not gonna really mess with it, but ideally what you want to see is a pullback. I mean, gold is trying to pull back and rate people here, but this zone right here, there's a pocket of liquidity right around here, which price hasn't filled yet. So it's most likely going to fill it at one point. I do not know. I mean, you can see when price left here, you see price filled it out right here, filled it out right here as well. And if we look at the opposite, or let's look at here, when price left here, filled it out right here. by doing that. When price left this lower zone, filled it out here, left here, filled it out here, left here, filled it out here. So this part has not been filled out yet. So I'll be very, 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 very extremely careful about gold at this moment in time when it comes to gold. So the next thing I'm gonna do is let's see. Let's check which next asset. So gold has two options, either 1745 or 1817. So I don't really know. I don't really know because the main thing is with gold right now is basically with the gold asset, the COT report is pointing either up or down because it doesn't really have any street directions with the gold. But what also happened is the seasonality is not certain, is not certain. So I would be very careful not touching it. Yeah, so exactly with gold, I'm definitely not just gonna touch it at all. That would be one thing I'll be extremely careful about. Next thing, yeah, yeah. It's best, last week has taught me a massive lesson. I'm not repeating the same, the same tragedy again. So Nasdaq. All right, let's go check Nasdaq. Keep in mind, with Nasdaq, we do not have probability for it yet. Neither do we have a COT report. So we're literally flying on Nasdaq just by just the seasonality only. We don't have COT report for it. We don't have probability for it. So keep that in mind. So whatever you trade on Nasdaq will be on a high risk, trade. By the way, there's new probabilities coming out for next year. There's probably about, if I'm not mistaken, there's about a 50 to 100 new probabilities that could be added to the website, depending on, the asset people are going to be trading. So Nasdaq, when December right now, wait, my mind just told me something that I probably didn't check gold properly. I'm just going to quickly reverse back to gold. Let me just quickly reverse back to gold and make sure that I looked at the right date. I felt like I looked at the wrong date in gold. Yeah, I did look at the wrong date in gold. Apologies for that. So this is where we are right now in gold. So 6th, yeah, 7th. Yeah, still the same thing. I wouldn't touch gold for now. There might be that pullback. Look, from 8th right here till about 11th. Yeah, we might see a pullback till about 11th or 12th. So most likely gold might actually come back up here. Then this might be a good zone to sell. If gold ever actually comes back up here without even any of they're not. Oh, this is daily chart, by the way. I need to be looking at 4-hour chart. Yeah, it still stands. This zone still actually stands for the daily. So if gold actually tends to come back anywhere up here, I would sell from anywhere within this zone. So that's to summarize gold. So gold is still the same thing right now. And let me see one more thing. I just need to quickly check the AUD one more time because I think I'm checking November instead of December. So I'm just quickly gonna run back and quickly do reanalysis on that one, make sure that I'm okay. Then I'll move back to Nasdaq. Apologies, guys. It seems like I'm quite all over the place for a second. So this is loading. Okay. Let's see what the chat's saying. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I checked the memo. Yeah, so everybody's sleeping. Yeah. Yeah, it's honest mistakes. Yeah, with the AUD, it shows down anyway. So yeah, AUD is correct. So either way, it's still facing down, and that COT is pointing up. So there isn't any alignment until probably if we get a new COT data by Friday, and it points down, then next week we can actually trade the AUD. But for now, we just have to let that go. So that's that. So that's clarified. Now let me move on to Nasdaq. So on Nasdaq, we're somewhere around. We're in a tricky period, right? It's a consolidation, right? But Nasdaq within the consolidation, we might actually see a dip within the Nasdaq price. We might actually see a dip within its price. If we go on, let's go here. All right. Oh, okay. So what I can see here already is Nasdaq is even dipped before the days. It started its dip from the 22nd, and if let me see. All right. So according to Nasdaq started its dip somewhere around here. Where here. So the variation, it's basically moving in opposite direction from that point on. So personally, I won't be touching Nasdaq, even though there's a dip that like on the 27th, between 27th and the 30th, there's meant to be a dip. And if we check, um, yeah, so 26th, this 29th, 26th, we had a dip on the 26th instead. So it's between the 27th and the 30th. That dipped on the 30th. That does happen. It did happen right here. Look. So that dip right around 30th right here happened. And it's going to be consolidating till about and probably still dip till about 13th of this month. I'll be very careful. I'll be very extremely careful with this one, because around this point, price didn't really do the move from here to here. This 4 days right here, price didn't predict it. It predicted price to keep going up, but seasonality predicted price keep going up, but price didn't do that. But right here, it did respect the seasonality from this point to this point, which is currently at right now. But the possibility of continuing to respect the seasonality might still play out, but I will be very, very careful. So if it's something you're so hell-bent on going into, then I would say the 6th, the 5th right here would have actually been the best entry, but the market isn't open today. So most likely market could gap to the downside and then probably pull back in somewhere around this region right here. Might be ideal for an entry on Nasdaq to sell. But everything is pointing to sell, but you have to be careful, because even though the sell is in play, you'll probably have a buy somewhere around here. So you probably have a buyback somewhere around this point. So if you're able to catch, you might probably catch 5,450 pips. So but price is currently right here. So the 5th of that dip till probably about the 13th. Then I wouldn't touch it after that point. And even within this point, I wouldn't even want to touch it because of consolidation within 5 years and all that stuff. Price could literally range, and that could cause headache. So check that. Next thing, Euro GBP. So let's go check Euro COT and then GBP COT. So, and go back to this. Let's check. So right now we have I think this is stuck a little bit. I don't think I need too much memory. So right now we have 15,000 pointing for GBP going up, new positions. This page is not loading. And let's go check GBP seasonality first while the Euro page is still loading. But from looking at the GBP seasonality anyway, this looks good because we have 15,000 pointing up and we have 6,000 here pointing short. So yeah, so we're somewhere around here. So this is where we are on the GBP. So we might actually see a GBP climb for up until the 11th. We might actually see a climb up until the 11th. But Euro also gives us that buy. Okay. So if we have the GBP pointing, put that notes. So COT, GBP, long, Euro. So we have that on long. So what we can do is then check the seasonality of euro as well. If the seasonality of euro dips down, then if the seasonality of euro dips down, then we might have something. So between the 6th, we actually have a small dip between the 6th to the 8th. So there's 2 days of dip, and then euro might recover. If we have a probability on the euro GBP, then we might actually have a trade. We might actually have a trade on that. Okay, so gives us 7 and 8 right here to sell euro. Yeah, 7 and 8. If you're interested in taking a slightly high risk trade, this might be good for you. It's just 2 days though, and it's something you have to be extremely careful about. Because on the 7th right here, right, we have the GBP pulling down. So I wouldn't recommend Euro GBP. I would not recommend Euro GBP. Okay, yeah, the GBP strength is definitely long. You're correct, Mr. Abiodun. I haven't checked it against the CAD yet, but you're definitely correct. GBP should gain strength, in regards to that. So in that sense, I'm still going to check CHF, JPY, but since we're already on Euro GBP anyway, I'll just check GBP CAD for a second, right? All right, let's go see what CAD has to offer us. And we also see what it has to offer us on COT report. So here we got that. CAD also gives us a buying power on this. So all we need now is probably a conflict, a conflicting signal between them, and we'll be good. Yeah. So there's a conflict in signals between the CAD. So CAD is actually pointing down. So, but they're buying into CAD probably to reduce the amount of dip they might have in CAD. So if we check GBP CAD probability, we might actually have a trade on GBP CAD. So GBP CAD. All right. This is weird because now according to probability is showing me that GBP is actually the one that's losing strength on the 6th and the 7th. And with that alone, it makes it a high risk trade, because the probability does not really support what I'm literally looking for. It doesn't support it. So I'll be very careful. One lesson I've learned, man, is if things does not align, just let it go. But I want to look for GBP CAD anyway and see what it looks like. Yeah. Mainly looking at this on a daily looks good because remember what I just said about when we're looking at gold. So there's this zone right here, which price left and price came back to retest. Now price did the same, price left the zone right here, price come back to retest, got that that bar right there with the long tail, like a pinback handle. So ideally from a technical perspective, GBP is meant to break out of this zone. There's a resistance right here. There's literally a resistance zone around this region. And you can see because every time price gets there, get kicked down, get kicked down, get kicked down. So what we should expect is GBP should actually go up. It should go up and probably come somewhere around this zone right here. This should be the next level right here. Then we have another level right here. But now, because we do not have the support of the probability, it's very, very, very difficult for me to actually call this trade. So if you want to trade this, this trade is actually a buy trade, GBP CAD. I would not write it down, but you can write it down manually. It's actually a buy trade. It's going to go long, but because of we do not have the probability supporting the move, according to the probability right here, GBP CAD probability, it's just from the history of it, we only have, it's done 64% going down on this day. So The only day will be on the 8th, which looks okay, but then we have that up down move, which I don't like. So I wouldn't recommend it at all. Okay, GBP okay, you know what? Let's do a round. Let's do a quick round of the GBP. Fine, GBP. Right. So I'm just gonna load GPCHF, BJPY. We've done Euro GBP, GBP USD. We've done GBP CAD, GBP AUD. AUD is already showing down anyway on the seasonality, but showing up on the probability. So, you know, still coming back to CHF by the way. I didn't forget that. So GBCHF gives us 50-50, then a buy, then sell. You know, it's still tricky. Ideally, you want to see 3 days. For my history of trading, I figured that when you have 3 days seems to be the best option for you when you're trading. So I wouldn't want to trade GBP CHF as well if I'm really following strictly the rules. GBP JPY doesn't also support the move. For some reason, according to history, it doesn't support it. You know, on the COT report, on the probability, the COT report and the seasonality does support it, but it doesn't really support. This might look a little bit supportive right here, GBP USD, because on the 7th, it gives us a 50-50. Then after that, we have like a stretch. So what I can do in this scenario is see what USD is looking at on the probability. Okay, it's looking confused, which is good for me. That's a good indication for me. And then let's see what USD is also looking like on. Let's see what it's looking like on the seasonality trade. If it looks good, then we might have something. Yeah. We are somewhere around here. So between 6th and 8th will be our sell date for USD anyway, according to seasonality. So if it's the 8th, if we have a, yeah, so 8th was actually this one. Okay, good. So we have something. GBP USD long. So the 8th of December would be the best time to go into GBP USD. And if we check it on, no, I don't even need this. I'll pull this up. Yeah, so currently right now it's going down, which is good. So this is very good. This is very, very good for us. I mean, price is currently around here. So price left the zone, came back left and got this zone of support. So looking at it, and the support lasted up until here. So I'm just going to drag that here and stretch it all out. Yeah, let me first stretch it and I'll come back and realign that right there. Okay. Yep. Yeah. So I'll probably wait and see what GBP is gonna do. Probably bottom out to somewhere around this zone, and I'll pick that up on Wednesday. So wherever GBP is on Wednesday, I'll look for a buy and then go long on that. And because of this move, right? If we look at what's the seasonality again? Use the seasonality. This move might last till the end of the week. So about 11th, between 11th and 13th will be our exit. Not even 13th. Yeah, no, 11th will be an exit. So 11th. So basically, exit will be on Friday because of this seasonality move shooting back to the top side. But if we look at GBP, for example, the move might last more than that. But let's see what that has for us. Yeah, 11th seems to be the ideal time to come out of that trade anyway. So Wednesday to Friday, we might be able to bag maybe something about 100 plus pips, maybe 100 pips from that, right? So GBP USD, that would be long. And to really verify this, where is that Williams spread? I also like to look at this It doesn't really look like that much bump, but it does show there is a bump coming. You know, there is a bump to the upside coming. It's not that much. And I like this indicator because it gives you kind of like a sixth sense of showing you what's to come. Like you can see when you had that massive spike here, you did get something. And then when it started falling, it kept falling and all that. So now we have just a tiny bump. So that tiny bump might be just 100 pips for us. So 60 or whatever pips it gives us from Wednesday to Friday, right? But if we're lucky, we might get a long candle around this length from Wednesday just to kick up and raid everybody and come to this zone at least. No, so that would be that one. Okay. Next thing. Okay, I see Aslan, you sending something to the group about Bitcoin Cash. That's good. I'll check that out after. So next one, let's check. I've checked the GBP cash. So CHF JPY. So quickly gonna check CHF JPY, and I think we don't have that much time. I would see what else I can quickly check within the time period. CHF, where's CHF? I think we've checked JPY already, but I'm gonna look at it one more time. Euro CHF. Okay, we're gonna go. So yeah, as we checked already, JPY seems to be no go because it's just blank right there. There's no new position, so it shows there's not really that much interest in JPY. They're taking the money out, so JPY might actually start falling, but there's nothing. So CHF also no go. So practically CHF JPY, I wouldn't really touch it. Yeah, GBP USD seems to be the best. Yeah, you're correct. GBP USD is best. Let's see GBP AUD. Maybe we might find something. Nah, GBP AUD gives us 2 days anyway, so no. GBP NZD. No. That's pointing down, so it's literally pointing down all the way through. I mean, so I wouldn't really want to touch that unless NZD is showing massive strength. It does show some strength, but it's not big enough for me to decide to want to push everything against GBP, and especially when GBP is already looking like it's gonna go up anyway. So let's see the seasonality of NZD. Let me check if there's any other request for anything I should check before I move. GBP, Euro CHF. Okay, someone requested for Euro CHF. Euro CHF. I'm gonna see if I can squeeze that in also. Right. So NZD. Let's see what NZD have in play for us. Yeah. NZD is looking like on the 8th they might gain some strength, 8th or 9th. So I mean NZD USD might be a good one because we already know NZD is losing strength. Maybe NZD AUD as well. It's just me, AUD NZD, my bad, no NZD AUD. It's just me just quickly freestyling the last moment of this. Yeah, it gives us just 2 days. No, this is wrong date. Yeah, it doesn't really look good. It only looks good from the oh, it looks good from the 9th actually. It can hold all the way through. So NZD USD looks good from the 9th up until the 13th, but because we know USD is gonna kick back by 11th anyway, so I'll let that go. It's a trade that can be traded, but I don't want to take too much risk, man. Especially when I check my record in November wasn't that good, so I want to literally follow the script. So AUD NZD is also no go. So let me quickly check the last one that I can check from the request, which is Euro CHF. Okay, right. Let's quickly see what we can find on Euro CHF. We have checked Euro before, so we know the Euro is actually going long because of that. Let me see what CHF is also doing. There we go. PNZ probability. Okay, so CHF doesn't really have a direction right now, so I'm just quickly gonna go back to euro and refresh my brain on what we have for euro. And if you have any questions, please type it down now. I can try to see if I can answer one or two questions before I leave. All right. So euro seems to be dropping from the 4th, and the drop could last up until the 8th, right? So yeah, up until the 8th. And CHF, since we have no set move for CHF, I would say euro CHF should not also be traded because it's not clear. CHF does not have a real move from the COT report. Yeah, also CHF looks like it's going to be dropping. So maybe you might do GBP CHF. I think we've checked GBP CHF already. Doesn't really look good. Maybe NZD CHF, since NZD seems like, it might gain some strength this week. So that might be one to check on too as well to see. So this would be like literally the last one I'm checking. All right. Okay. So NZD CHF gives us 2 days up, 2 days down, 1 day up. So I don't like that. I want 3 days. Minimum, what I'm looking for is 3 days up or 3 days down move. So that being said, I mean, this is me doing a rough glance through the website and just finding one trade. But I'm sure, like, if you do a glance through it yourself, you probably find a few more. So literally, that's literally what we can find right now for this asset, which is GBP USD. And I know that I did disqualify a lot of assets, and those assets might even move in our direction. But the thing with trading is better to be safe than to be sorry, right? You don't want to end up losing the money and then be like, oh, if I'd known, I should have, stayed out of it. So the best thing is to just do what you can with what you have, and do it very good that you make some money out of it. So on that note, guys, that's all I have time for today. Thank you very much for joining and interacting, and also being patient with me throughout the time that I was having technical issues with my sound card. I'm really grateful for having you guys with me, and I really appreciate you. So if you have questions, just drop it on the Telegram group, and I'll be able to get back to you on that. Right? So take good care of yourself, guys, and have a lovely week to come. God bless you too, Mr. Babalola, and Aslan. Thank you. God bless you too. Have a great night, guys. Take care of yourself. Bye.